What is up, everybody? Detroit Lions News Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Chapp, and we're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions. Obviously, this victory today was one to behold. In all reality, did you really think that they were going to win? I thought they were going to win as well, but when you think about what they were able to do, right? They were down in a considerable amount of players. When you look at the injury report, you were down just these guys, DJ Reader, Josh Pascal, Levi Onwuzurike, Taylor Decker. Not to mention, you had Aiden Hutchinson out, obviously. Derek Barnes, Rodrigo's out for the year. Mekhi Wingo's out for the year. Derek Barnes out for the foreseeable future. Alex Anzalone's out. When you talk about losing those players and you're able to win a football game against the Green Bay Packers, who also were fighting for the division up until this point, obviously this is before the game, but they were 9-3. They were still available to win the NFC North. What you did tonight proves once and for all. Number one, it eliminates the Green Bay Packers from the NFC North discussion. Furthermore, this is the most amount of wins in a straight wins. 11 straight wins is a franchise record. Not to mention, being 12, this is the 12th win of the season. This ties the single season franchise record, and it also clinches the playoffs. So when you talk about the Detroit Lions and you talk about the absolute grit they had to have to win this football game, and you just look at what they had to do to win this football game, they didn't just win this football game because they played perfect. No. They did not play perfect by any stretch of the imagination. The interception was horrible. Obviously, going for it on fourth down, not getting it. Obviously, I think if you're going to go look at it from a realistic standpoint, I think Campbell was trying to do what he just did, which was get the ball back last. And if that was the way he did it, very, very smart. But what the Detroit Lions prove today is that grit, like I said before, isn't just a marketing solution. Grit is the way that they play. They went in there with Za'Darius Smith and Alim McNeill, two guys that were on the roster for sure. Alim McNeill left in the second half. Za'Darius Smith was the only one running. We're running with guys like Miles Adams, Jonah Williams. Don't even know his name. Pat O'Connor, the Eastern Michigan legend. And they find a way to win. You got to understand, this is heroic stuff, because it's exactly how the Lions had to win this football game. They won this game, and if you look at the time of possession, it was 36:06 to 23:54. The penalties were 7-7. Obviously, they lost a fumble. You gave an interception. Detroit had 27 first downs to the Green Bay Packers 17. Detroit outrushed Green Bay. They outpassed Green Bay, but their yards per play wasn't as good as Green Bay's. Make no bones about it. Green Bay was moving the ball at a historic turn. I think at one point it was like 7.2 or 3. They were moving the ball. And Dan Campbell, at that point in time, he started to really crank down. He wanted to get some fourth downs. Obviously, going for it on fourth down is kind of shaky for a lot of people. But when you think about it from this perspective, he knew that the defense that he had is totally gassed. Totally gassed. Like, he knew that they were limited to what they were going to do. And Green Bay was getting the yards that was necessary to win the football game. They were at one point, it was like 6.3. It ended at 6.6, so it's a lot more than it was. But when you think about the yards per play and you think about the time of possession, the Lions won a brawl. They didn't just go out there and just casually won the football game. They won a brawl. And this game in particular is so it's rewarding for all of us as Lions fans, because we got to see the Lions absolutely just destroy every little thing that people were talking about on the pre-games. If you listen to ESPN, or you listen to NFL Prime, or you were listening to somewhere along the lines, They were talking about the Lions' injuries were going to defect them from winning this game. They go out there, they win this game the hard way. It wasn't easy. It was not easy at all. But what the Lions showed in every step of the way is that they are legitimately a championship team. You know, you think about championship teams. What do they do when things go? They don't go their way. What do you do when things aren't going your way? This is the Lions in particular. Nothing's going their way. They lost to Lee McNeil going into the second half. They're missing a majority of their defensive players. They come out and they win the football game against a good Green Bay Packers team. And when you think about it from this perspective, this is the Lions. This is the first time in NFL history that every receiver got 5+ receptions in NFL history. Look at that. 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6. And then you look at what the Packers did. You held Josh Jacobs to 66 yards on 18 carries for 3.7 average carry. Just think about that. That's just so special, man. Because Josh Jacobs was coming here. He was averaging 100 a game. He didn't even get to his average of 70+ alt receiving and alt running, which means running and receiving combined. He's hit that last 15 games. He didn't get that today. With a depleted defense. I mean, that just shows you everything you need to know about this Lions team. And honestly, we're going to get to the comments in a minute, but this is just one of the best victories from a Lions football team in quite some time. I'll put this over the playoff game against the Rams because of how it came about. You were beat up, unimaginably beat up. You go and you play the Packers, who are moderately healthy on the offensive end, and you just beat them by playing the game. And a lot of teams would not have been able to do this, but the good job on the offense. And if they didn't turn over the ball, I guarantee you they would have won by 10 points. Impressive ass victory. And like Dan Campbell calls those people that they call up from the practice squad, he calls them the Northern Savages. The Northern Savages. Well, I think that they are the Northern Savages. So it was interesting from my perspective, because you don't get better than this. You literally don't. And you clinch a playoff spot, which is amazing. You get your 11th straight win. And this was a game where you came into this game and you were just injured beyond belief. It goes without notice, man. So if you got comments, we'll get to them in a minute. Obviously, what a great game. Just what a great game, man.